right, the hits just keep on coming, America. Back-to-back reports on inflation now out, both worse than expected, and the markets are reacting. Here's the number on the big board. We've been open for a couple minutes, and we're down almost 500 points to the negative side. With us now is Larry Kudlow. Hello, sir,
Larry.
to you. Good morning. Consumer price index yesterday, producer price index today. Let us know how much manufacturers are paying to make the goods. What do you see in the number, Larry? And do you see anything of good news?
No, I don't see any good news. These are the worst inflation numbers in 40 years across the board. And today's producer price index is probably overstating because energy prices have started to come down in late June and July, but you're at 11.3, and the core, excluding food and energy, for the PPI was 8.2. Those are bad numbers. And goods, core goods, excluding food and energy, were 9.1. These are 12-month changes, and services, again, core services, 7.7. So I'm just trying to take out the volatility, and these are, very bad numbers. And so yesterday's CPI was a disastrous number. The CPI yesterday, I haven't had a chance to go into the details for the PPI because it just came out. But the CPI numbers on a 3-month change, the most recent 3 months all showed increases above the 12-month change. So that tells you that various core, services in particular, that stuff is actually picking up steam. And so inflation is deeply embedded in the economy. I think the Federal Reserve's got to raise their target rate at the end of this month by a full percentage point, 100 basis points. I think that's essential, and I think they're going to have to come back in September and probably do another 75 or 100 basis points. Inflation's out of control. And I want to add just one last point to both of you. This is no time for a $1 trillion spending and tax hike package. That would be the worst thing in the world, particularly with massive penalties, a $400 billion tax hike on small businesses. I mean, whoever thought this brainstorm up really should be, should be banished someplace, maybe to a rival network.
Here's Brian Deese, Larry, talking about what they, because now everybody's asking the administration the same question. What are you going to do? And we know what Reagan would do, right? We know that there would be lowering of regulation, lowering of taxes, trying to increase growth across the base. But here's what Brian Deese says is the solution.
Inflation remains too high, which is why we need action. And I just want to underscore, if there's one thing to take away from this report, it's that there is more urgency now than ever in Congress moving to pass a bill to try to build more domestic semiconductors, to try to bring down the price of those goods.
Yeah, he talks about lowering costs and the deficit. So lowering costs means passing the kind of bill that you just mentioned, Larry. They think that if they put more money in people's pockets, it's going to help them with these increased costs.
Yeah, well, it won't. I mean, it just increases aggregate demand, which is a good part of the problem. And that's what triggered that, over a year and a half ago or whenever, March of 2021. You don't want to do that. What you really want to do, if you want to restore some confidence and stabilize the economy, how about a domestic spending freeze? How about Congress does nothing on the spending side? Zero. By the way, the semiconductor thing needs to be looked at very carefully. That's a $300 billion bill, point number one. And point number two, semiconductor prices, which were high coming out of the pandemic, they're coming down. They're coming down. In the private investment sector, private investment, there's over $200 billion that has been invested in the chip sector, We don't need government money, okay? It's just a bunch of corporate welfare and industrial policy. And by the way, Intel, which ain't the company it used to be, is building a plant in Germany. So I don't want the U.S. taxpayer to finance Intel's plant in Germany.
No,
but coming back to this story, okay? This story, look, you don't want to be raising taxes on small businesses, you know, pass-throughs, subchapter S's. That accounts to about, I don't know, half the jobs in this country. Close to 90% of the output of goods and services in this country comes from small businesses. Let me get this right. And you've got a bunch of Democrats talking about raising taxes on that. That will deepen the recession.
They might try.
I know, they might try. They're going to deepen the recession, and they'll steepen the inflation rate by doing it. Martha had it right before. You know, what would Reagan do? Good question. He cut tax rates. All right, that creates incentives to produce more goods. That would reduce inflation. He deregulated, by the way, decontrolled energy, so oil prices fell. That would help a lot now. Get rid of all these anti-fossil fuel regulations. That would help now. We need to produce more oil and gas. We need to produce more gasoline, for heaven's sake.
Larry, here's the problem.
Why don't you help the refineries?
You've got the wrong management team in place at the highest levels to do what you want. So, but thanks for coming on today.
You think they're the wrong team? Okay, I'll have to ponder that.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.